right, people, away we go. Here it is, a Monday, December the 23rd. T-minus, 8 days left in the 2019 year. New decade just around the corner, but we got plenty of NBA. They kind of own this time of year, this whole Christmas time of year. Exciting stuff here. And, of course, this time of year also means profits in the NBA. And who better to help you do that than our good friend, Tony Finn, the only one joining us here. Everyone else is acting like they got family and people they want to see during this time of year. Not Finn and I. Finn and I are diehards. It's all about NBA and making money, Finn, and picking winners. That's what we're all about here, brother. Welcome into the NBA Tip-Off Show, powered by WagerTalk.com. Finn, how are you, my man?
It's great. It's Friday. It's a great day. Every day is Friday.
Good point. Yes. Yeah. It made me even think about that. Damn it. We've got loaded card here today, Finn. Loaded today. Of course, we'll also load it on Christmas Day. So once you're done, acting like you care about seeing your family, you can actually sit down at a couch, get a little action going. But tonight's big, man. It was a good weekend. It was a fun weekend. I think maybe. And it's a shame we don't have Ski on here because I'm not sure if he's redoing that LeBron poster or not. But, boy, it's something tells me that we're going to see LeBron on Christmas, even though he apparently has this groin thing going, and he missed the game because Denver ran them over. But, yeah, something tells me that groin's going to be just fine on Christmas.
Well, if he can play, I think we both know he'll play. It's going to have to be really – it's going to have to be very painful for him not to play, and he can always turn to a multitude of ointments to help him play.
Boy. Yes, yeah, deer antler spray. I mean, you name it. Yes,
whatever you want to call it.
Yes, right. And in fact, listen, guys, those Denver Nuggets seem to have finally figured something out. Big game tonight here in my neck of the woods, Tony, as the Utah Jazz, a team that you have been heavy on all year long, in fact, are coming to the AAA. I don't know. We're just having this conversation off air about BYU traveling to Hawaii for a bowl game, and now we've got a team like Utah coming to South Beach for the holiday here, for this little holiday festivities here, and Miami finds themselves in that 4.5 point favorite situation, 212 as a total. We keep waiting for the wheels to fall off to the Miami Heat. They haven't done so thus far yet here, Finn.
I don't think they will, not unless they have some significant injuries. And this team is fairly deep with Gorn back now. Winslow back. Is Winslow back yet? Is he playing?
Yeah.
Is he gonna? When's he back? So, to the point, Utah is a team that's going to grind it out. They're going to be tough. They're tough. This is a position where you're probably overall, as a season-long look, you're much better off, at least how Utah has played so far and scored and their record against the spread, against the number, even not against the number per se. Utah's a much better team to be taking points with, I think. In this situation, Miami's been tough at home. They showed what they can do. They showed that they're well coached. They showed that they have the depth. They showed that even with some injured, that that they can sustain a quality of play, and their game against Philadelphia, for instance, was very impressive on the road. Now they're back at home where they've been really tough to beat.
12-1 straight up at home, 11-2 against the number at home this season at the AAA. The Miami Heat averaging just about 119 points per game, while the Jazz averaging only 106 on the road. They've had their issues on the road, Utah. I mean, there's no doubt about it. They've also had, Tony, a very unique thing. They're 0-5 against the number in their last 5 following an ATS win. So, when they play, it's that whole consistency of being able to put dominating performances back-to-back here with Utah, and that's kind of a tough situation tonight to do on the road.
Yeah, and with their bench has not been outstanding. That's probably one of the issues. We talked about this, whether it be on this show with the NBA Tip-Off Show or some of the a lot of the in-game live I do with those guys. I have a very good insider out of Utah, and he's said that bench has not done enough to complement the starting 5. And with Conley being in and out of the lineup, this is their 3rd game in 5 days on the road. Tough situation. I can't back Utah here. I really can't.
Yep.
I would if I'm going to support someone here, it's going to be Miami minus the 4.5, whatever the number is.
So another game we're looking at here tonight, coming off of just an unbelievable effort here by the defending champion Toronto Raptors. Heart of a champion there, Tony. I mean, what can you say? Down, I think the largest comeback in NBA history. Toronto almost down 30 in their game over the weekend. Now traveling to Indiana to take on those damn pesky Indiana Pacers who won't go away. Opens up at 6. I'm seeing 6.5, 7s. The numbers creeping up to 2-11, 2-11.5 in this game. Kind of hard. I mean, what do you do if you're kind of hard to back Toronto after that kind of effort, no?
I couldn't say it any better. I can't do it.
Yeah.
This is a really good Indiana team. Good defensive team at home, much better at home than on the road. They are the equivalent. In the East, there isn't a lot better defensively as efficiency goes in the East than the Pacers. They're at home. They get a Toronto team that has to be it's tough to come off what they did this weekend and perform at another high level against a very good team.
Yeah. It's going to be a tough game for them there. Also, you guys should know, injury report, Sabonis and Jeremy Lamb for Indiana listed as questionable, but Gasol, Powell, Siakam all injured there for Toronto. Just impossible, to think of what they did there. But the money keeps rolling in here, I guess, as expected there for Indiana at home here tonight in that matchup. Another game also seeming to get an awful lot of love here is the Houston Rockets and the Sacramento Kings here tonight. Again, two teams that we have talked about. Bench for Houston, just what can you say? Coming off of a interesting weekend for these teams. Houston is laying now 6 points on the road against these Kings who are finally healthy. The number's starting to creep up, 228, Tony. I'm seeing 231s out there now.
It's listen, this is a good spot for Sacramento, isn't it? It's supposed to be a really good spot.
Exactly.
They are healthy. They've been, save a couple of performances where they've let not myself necessarily down, but some of my comrades and you guys on some of the guys on the show. They have been really good against the number.
Yep.
And tonight's a great spot. They're healthy. And if this game's close in the fourth quarter, as Sacramento would want it to be, then I'll give the edge to the Kings. I really do. They're just deeper. They're in the fourth quarter late. They can win this game and do it by margin, actually.
Yep. They got the Rockets 4-1 against the number in their last 5 on the road, 4-0 against the number in their last 4 on the road against teams that actually have winning home records. And for Sacramento, it's been a rough stretch here, 1-5 against the number in the last 6 overall. So they've had a hard time covering some games here as of late, but I think that's to be expected. Still trying to work out the kinks and kind of get, rotations and a groove back going on here for Sacramento.
Well put. Couldn't have been put any better. The team with somebody with a good young point guard coming back to health, with a big man who's still young, still learning. Rotations are filled now, and getting that mix and that cohesion is always there's always a time factor that's involved, and they should be about ready, don't you? Kick off a little bit of winning streak.
Yep. Westbrook, of course, looks like he's starting to finally figure it out there. And Harden, of course, back to his old tricks over the weekend, dropping 47 there in Phoenix. So, here we go. The over, no wonder why it's starting to creep up there. It's starting to get there. And let's talk about this Nuggets team, who I think many people think exposed the L.A. Lakers there over the weekend without LeBron, which – wasn't that hard to figure out. I could have told you that. But, this is a team. Denver's kind of been Jekyll and Hyde a little bit. We kind of figured they'd find their groove, find themselves as a 3.5-point favorite on the road. The total hanging out at 217 against this Phoenix Suns team who, again, just got 47 dropped on them by James Harden.
Yep. The Suns have been respectable. They started kind of hot, and then they regressed as we thought they would. They lost Booker for a handful of games, and without Booker and with Ayton just coming back, we just talked about rotations that have to learn each other and gain some cohesiveness and know where each other are going to be on the court. Denver's coming off that, like you just mentioned, pretty big performance last night against the Lakers. So this is a game where you're supposed to like Denver. You're really supposed to like the defensive team, But I shied away simply because of the situation, because of what Denver did last night. And Phoenix has Booker back. Ayton's played a few games. They're going to be at full strength, I believe, unless I've been misinformed.
Ayton is out with the ankle, but Ricky Rubio is now back in the lineup, as is Kaminsky and Sarek. So Paul Millsap also active for the Nuggets. But like you said, tough situation here coming off of that emotional win. Denver laying 3.5 here at this point on the road in Phoenix tonight. And two of our favorite teams here, Tony, to always take a look at because we love these guys. How about the New Orleans Pelicans and the Portland Trailblazers? Now, you know, you are a guy that's wired in there with Portland, and, you know, you make those phone calls around the league. New Orleans, listen, Zion's not walking through that door anytime soon here, okay? He's not walking through. I don't know what to make of them anymore. I really don't, New Orleans. They find themselves as believe it or not, a big underdog here, 6.5 points. The total seems to have gotten up there, 228.5, 229. I don't know. Can either of these two teams get to that number, you think, in this spot?
Well, this is a tough situation. Portland has been inconsistent. They have been good. They've been really bad. They have the bench. We talk about benches. We talk a lot about benches in this season. Many teams. Just a lot has to do with the free agent frenzy circus that happened this year. In this game, you really listen. I'll take Portland at home, and and what they have against what New Orleans has presented. Gentry's job, I think, is in jeopardy. I think there is a lot of players on this team right now that are questioning their role or what their future is. And is Zion even going to come back this year? If he's not healthy enough to come back by, let's say, end of January, does he come back, Joe?
Yep, that's the question. And why would you bring him back if that was the case anyway? Any questions? You don't bring him back on a team that is, 1-14 in their last 15 here?
Yes.
Yeah, they're starting to battle GS for that whole worst of the league aspect over here. The numbers are terrible now. I believe Carmelo's a little banged up. Knee is questionable, but, you know, regardless – Portland should be able to get the job done at home, I would think, rather easily in this spot. But that number keeps creeping up there to the 230 mark. So if nothing else, they're expecting some points. And I don't know. What do you expect tonight? Philadelphia once again here, Tone. The Sixers taking on the Pistons, and the Pistons, all right, who's not hurt, who's playing, who's not playing. Embiid is questionable with an illness. I don't know what that means. Blake Griffin also questionable, but Derrick Rose is definitely probable here. I don't think enough can be said about what Derrick Rose has been doing this year. Kind of like he reminds me a lot of Adrian Peterson. Like, you're like, wow, they're still in the league, and they're doing it at a ridiculous level. It's kind of crazy the kind of year that he's having. But Sixers are a six-point favorite here. Totals at 213.5 here. Well, they finally got right, the Sixers, against Washington over the weekend. What do you think in this matchup?
That's as bad as Detroit can be. They're still much more capable than Washington, especially in the paint, obviously with Drummond and the ex-Oklahoma All-American. This is the situation. Philadelphia has not been very good on the road this year. They have been, even against teams that are less thans and below 500, winning percentages below 500 per se. I think that they are somewhere in the neighborhood, and I don't have the numbers in front of me because I'm kind of doing them remote today. No one tell anybody, but I think they're 3-9 against the spread, or 4-9 against the spread on the road against such teams, and it's very difficult for me to lay 6 points, even to a Detroit team that you just. Here's the deal, Joe. A lot of times I don't know what to expect. What we're getting from Detroit, they're not really they haven't been terrific in any situation, and the staff and this team has not been completely transparent with some of the injuries that are going on there. Yeah,
it's let us not forget Christmas Day. I believe they're getting a visit from Milwaukee, if I'm not mistaken. Right. So
correct.
Might be a little look-ahead spot there. And I don't know. Talk about a team and a coach that may not be there for long. I don't know if Detroit is trying to figure out a way to get rid of him, which is kind of a shame. I think he's a good coach, but he can't figure out how to maximize all that forward talent on this team, and it's absolutely killing them.
Yes, it is. I think it's a good point. Not just, and I've already spoken about Gentry. There's other coaches. There's some other coaches. One of them is Detroit, and about who is going to hang this year. This is this is a year where we have some good teams and some really bad teams, which is it's always going to be that way in the NBA. But it just seems that gap this year seems to be wider than usual to me.
Yep. It's growing,
yes.
and it's growing big time. All right, one final game here on the card that we'll talk about here tonight. Again, big card guys. Want to remind you over at WagerTalk.com, Tony Finn's got you lined up here, not only with an NBA package ready to rock and roll, but a little college hoops is an interesting card tonight too, and of course a couple of Hawaii tournaments. You got some college hoops here over the weekend coming up. So Finn, you got yourself a little NBA college hoops package going on.
Yes, I do, and it's a big party in Hawaii this weekend. We got a bowl game tomorrow night in college football. It's going to be interesting too. A lot of college basketball. A good time. In fact, why aren't we in Hawaii right now?
Yeah, that's I've been asking that for a while now because you're stuck in Spokane, I believe, and
I'm cold.
Yeah. And I'm, you lost a bet, and I'm stuck here in awful Miami, which is no place to celebrate the holidays at all. As I sit here in my Wager Talk thong, and finally, no better way to end it here than not the thong, but there's no better way to end it than with my New York Knicks here tonight, taking on the Washington Wizards, who, listen, pushed Toronto to the brink of extinction there on Friday. Then they followed that up with a absolute getting crushed there, yesterday or Saturday, rather, against Philly. So what do we do here in this spot with the Knicks? Laying 3 points at home. Suffice to say, listen, I believe Hakamura and company are still hurt. They've got some scorers bang up. They're not as healthy as they were. We know they don't play any defense here. The total is in the 230s, which is kind of crazy here. Do you trust these two teams to keep putting up the scoring like we've seen as of late?
I wish I could lend any kind of insight to the New York Knicks. I think I've told you I've pretty much wave the white flag and surrender. Listen, if this team is new and better built, better coached, are they not? I'm not willing to step out yet on that limb, be it thick, thin, whatever the case may be. So far, overall, they've been horrible at MSG. They've been horrible at Madison Square Garden. Yet, this Washington team deserves to be a road favorite as much as I deserve to hit the lottery. So. What are they? 4-13 or 4-14? Listen, they're not very good as a road favorite, even against teams that are less than. And at this point in time, I still have to put the Knicks in that category until they prove otherwise.
Yeah, the money does seem to be flowing towards the Knicks at this particular point. Also, Isaiah Thomas suspended for this game here tonight for going into stands over the weekend in Philadelphia. Yada, yada, yada. Marcus Morris also is doubtful for this game for the Knicks. So it's a wonder it opened up at 232. I'm starting to see some money come to the under, and I'm guessing I know why, as 234.5, and now it's at 228, 227s I'm seeing. So the Knicks,
I know.
I have to look at the money line in this situation because I really can't trust either of them.
There's better games on the board, I think, that are at least you can feel like you've solved them to some degree. If you can solve this, if you give me the winner of this Knicks game, side, total, and give me the highest, and give me the player that scores the most points in this game, I will send you a bottle of whiskey.
Do me a favor. Have you figured out the San Antonio Spurs, who find themselves as a 2-point favorite on the road to Memphis? No, you didn't figure that one out yet, Finn? No.
Listen, I am on. If you're going to put this game towards me, I'll tell you right now, I'll take Memphis. Definitely take Memphis.
Really?
And I will take. Yes, I will absolutely at home getting point. No, against San Antonio, no. I'm sorry. I know San Antonio's been better on the road than they have been at home, but that's not saying much in my opinion. I still would be on Memphis here.
Got some people to believe in them. Got some people to believe him, but if you had to make a decision, you'd go Cleveland Cavaliers to take down the Hawks, right? Because, another quality game on the card here tonight, right? Cleveland? No, I didn't think so.
I tell you what, it's a coin toss in my opinion. In fact, if you just this is one of those games where the public, you have friends this way. They'll say, "Jesus, Tony, why do you even pay attention to the NBA? Why do you pay attention to the NBA until May, and even in May, don't even watch it till the last 5 minutes of the game. This is one of those games.
Yep.
It's whoever has the ball last may be the winner here. But I can't pick it.
Are you comfortable now to back GS against Minnesota at home? Minnesota only a 2-point favorite here on the road. The Timberwolves are, they're saddled with just a ridiculous 10-game losing streak that began when they were actually above 500. Then they realized, my God, we're the Wolves, we're the Timberwolves, so we got to make sure we go the other way, and that seems to be what's going on. I don't know. I mean, D'Angelo Russell averaging, it looks like he's starting to finally take control here of this team, which is what they were hoping for, averaging about 26 in the last couple of games. Do you trust the Wolves here as a favorite on the road?
I'm still getting, my insider still giving information that Towns isn't healthy, not 100% healthy.
Yeah, he's not. Yep.
How do you play? Listen, we were doing in-game live on Saturday night, Joe, and I was absolutely flabbergasted. I was mystified how Minnesota was even in the game because Covington had 0 points. And outside of Towns and Wiggins, Covington really is the guy that I would want to supplement in any way, shape, or form some points. And they were competing somehow until late. This was, and I was playing against them because of that. And I thought, I don't know why I haven't already checked this game as a winner with Covington with 0 points. And I did eventually cover that. I did eventually win it. It's one of those deals where I don't know how you do this, but it's difficult to play. It's difficult to play Minnesota without Towns.
Yep. Even
against GS.
Yeah. I agree, and it'd be hard for me to lay the 221 in this game as well, as Minnesota has scored, guys, 99, 100, and 106 points in his last 3 games. And listen, Wiggins is doing the best he can, but they don't have any fire. But I got no Towns. It's not like Golden State lights it up. The under 8-2 in the Timberwolves' last 10 against opponents with losing records. It just kind of feels like I'm looking at a 105 to 95 type of game here. Does it not?
Yes. There's no way for me to play the over. There's no way for me to support it or recommend it in any way, shape, or form. No, I agree.
It's kind of crazy. So of the games here on the board, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We got 11 games on the board here, Tony. Yeah. If you were going to recommend one, which way you going here, brother man?
We were speaking of question marks among coaches and their securities. I think there's a question in the Windy City as well. Listen. We have dogged Orlando in many situations, but if you'll look at the numbers in this, you're going to find a lot of sharp money tonight on Orlando. Yeah. The public numbers are pretty much split as expected. Chicago, despite as inept as they have been this year at times, they are the public team between the two. I like Orlando laying 5.
I got to tell you, opened up at 3. I can see what you're talking about here. Money line and spread, guys, starting to get a whole lot of discrepancy there. Small percentage of tickets, big percentage of the money, and that sucker is moving now to 5. So I would not at all be adverse to maybe some sort of combination of Denver, Orlando, Indiana, some sort of combination along those as a shits and giggles parlay. What do you think?
I am not even going to argue with you tonight. I like that.
You're right.
I like that. That's not even for fun. I don't even want to argue. I'm in the holiday. I give you your. Let's play it. I
got. Looks like 2.5 to 1, guys. Pacers, Orlando, and back. Don't back San Antonio, but take the Denver Nuggets here on the road, taking on the Phoenix Suns. So
I'm in. Are we on? Or we can spend some of that money tomorrow?
You damn straight we can. Yes, we're going to need it because come Christmas we're going to have a load up on a whole bunch of other games there. So, guys, make sure you get the Wager Talk. Finn's got you all covered here. College hoops and the NBA ready to rock and roll. Packages available, not to mention the many upcoming bowl games. There is one place for you to reach him, and that is at wagertalk.com. You know where to go, guys. It's fairly simple. There it is, wagertalk.com. Get over to Tony's page. He's got you covered, and he's, of course, got you covered tonight as well in the NBA. We'll be back on Thursday with the crew. Tony will be joining us here back in his humble abode in the beautiful Las Vegas mountains, if they let him back in the state. All
Tonight.
should be good. Tonight, he's on his way back. So, Tony, make sure you have a very safe holiday, man. Get back to Vegas safe. And you guys, thank you very much for watching and for consuming. And make sure you make it a profitable night in the NBA. Join us again on Thursday. Have a very safe and happy Merry Christmas. Tony, we'll talk to you on Thursday, brother. Get back safe.
Happy holidays. Tell all the important people in your life Merry Christmas and whatever.
Amen. And happy all that other good stuff. Good luck, guys. Cash some tickets.